All right, so Shane is reeling. He's down bad. We up though out there in Oregon. And I say we up just because we up. You know, that friend of the show. How many head coaches have been on this show? One. Sir Daniel Lanning. What are you scratching your head over there for?
I felt like we had another one on.
No. We got the future commissioner of college football on here once. Yeah. Joshua Pate. And we had the greatest voice of SEC football of all time, Gary Danielson, on. Say a crossword about Gary Danielson, I promise you. I dare you, I should say. But anyway, yeah, our Dan Lanning. Film Guide Network's own Daniel Lanning. Ripping it up on the trail. I don't know what I'm doing with first names right now.
Brooks Austin's best friend, Dan Lanning.
Quote, Brooks Austin's pal, Dan Lanning, cooking on the trail. Sends a Christmas card every year. He doesn't do that. We do talk. You know, not often. He's a busy man. He's a very busy man. But anyways, Oregon is absolutely killing. Since June 1st, they have gotten commitments from Zaire Addison, who I've been on the record on Twitter saying I think is the number one tackle in the country. I know. David Sanders is great. I know. Juan Gaston's great. I know. Nick Brooks is great. I like Zaire Addison. So that's me. Dimitri Manning, who is a 3-star offensive tackle commit. However, Dimitri Manning, 6'7", 345 pounds. That'll play. That checks out. Josiah Sharma. Josiah Sharma, great name. Josiah Sharma, a 3-star. Josiah Sharma, also the largest human being in California. The only 6'5", 345-pound defensive tackle available in the state. He's a 3-star ranked out in California, but I promise you right now, every West Coast team was praying that they could sign this kid because he's the only massive one. And this is kind of a sport about big people. And there ain't a lot of big defensive linemen out there in California. So, Josiah Sharma, if Josiah Sharma played at Grayson High School, what do you think Josiah Sharma's ranked? I've never even seen the tape. 6'5", 345. What do you think he's ranked? At least a 4-star. I bet he's inside the 250. He's a 4-star. I bet he's inside the 250, without a doubt in my mind. Brandon Finney is a 4-star out of Maryland that they got a commitment from. Jordan Davidson is a running back out of Mater Dei out there in Southern Cal. Deshaun Brame was a tight end out of Kansas that Tennessee started messing around with. Tennessee actually got predictions to get this commitment late. I wonder how. Oregon battling for Deshaun Brame, tight end out of Kansas. Dorian Brew, one of the top corners in the state of Texas, committed to Oregon last month. Dakarian Moore, the top wide receiver in the country, just committed to Oregon out of the state of Texas. That is 8 commitments in the last month alone. All 8, in my opinion, make a tremendous amount of sense for this program. They're blue chippers mixed with, hey, that's a big son bitch. Let's get him in here. Okay. And if we do that, we're going to recruit really, really well. Also, I want to point this out. Look at the locations on the commitments list for Oregon right now. They got commits out of Texas, Florida, California, Kansas, Illinois, Maryland, Missouri, Arizona, Washington. Try putting that on a hot map. Just spread it out. Put some red dots where they're landing kids from. You know what you won't find? One, or what you will find. One, he's recruiting nationally. If you're a great player, Oregon thinks they can sign you. I saw Oregon on the trail this year in the state of Georgia. Last 2 years in the state of Georgia since Dan has taken over that job and really gotten his hands on recruiting. So they are a very national-based recruiting model. That is the first thing you will notice. The other thing you will notice, ain't jack shit coming out of the state of Oregon. So that's kind of why they have to recruit that way. All right. I think you looked up the Oregon players available.
There's 7 of them ranked in the state. Nice. They're all 3 stars.
Those are 7 with profiles. They're not ranked.
Sorry, yeah, profiles.
Those are 7 with profiles. Those players are not ranked. So yeah, the state's not going to be good. So you're going to have to recruit nationally. He's doing that really, really, really well. When I pay attention to how this dude is out here recruiting, 2 things stand out to me, very, very obvious, that he picked up right from the last stop that he made, right? This is a guy in Lanning that has coached under Mike Norvell, under Nick Saban, and under Kirby Smart. I think he's coached under some really good football coaches, some guys that know a little something about this sport and how to coach it. 2 things that he picked up are very, very obvious from Kirby. Big people. I'm going to recruit big people. I'm going to recruit a lot of big people. I'm going to prioritize big people. And the other thing, if you're a winner, you can pull nationally, so you better win. Okay, Georgia does this. They don't have to do this. Georgia could sign 25 guys from the state of Georgia every single year and finish in the top 3 in recruiting. It's just the way it is, okay? Oregon cannot. Oregon has to recruit nationally. Georgia chooses to recruit nationally because they don't really care about where you're from. All they care about is best player available, because they can do that because they've won at a rate like that. So Oregon is a major, major problem, boys, not just for anybody in the Big Ten, not just for anybody out west, but especially for Lincoln Riley. Oregon is a problem nationally for everyone. They're going to bump heads with just about every big program because they're in the mix for everybody, it seems.
Is that a problem, or is that more of a thorn in the side? Because
it's a problem. Anytime a new entrant with Phil Knight money comes into your pool, that is a problem. Georgia didn't see him as a problem when he first got there.
Right.
Because they're like, we'll never battle him. We'll never have to battle him. Bullshit. Zaire Addison is an Oregon Duck right now. You know what I'm saying? So, It's not going to be every member of every class, but they tried to get in on Isaiah Gibson. I saw Lupoy down there last year at the defense at Warner Robins. Okay, so I've seen these guys out on the trail trying to get their nose in on some Georgia recruits, and they're not necessarily doing it often, but they're costing you, and they're costing everybody. They cost Texas, costing LSU, costing Maryland. I mean, Maryland of all players, stealing players from Maryland.
Yeah.
So this is something to pay attention to, and this is something to at least make note of. Is like, hey, Dan's not just a great defensive coach. Dan's not just apparently a great offensive finder. Like that's been the craziest thing. I knew Dan would coach defense. I knew Dan would recruit well. Really high energy, recruited coach defense at an elite level, probably historic level at the University of Georgia. And oh, by the way, got a lot of energy, going to recruit well. Okay, so I knew those things were going to happen. The idea that you're going to sign and bring in 2 offensive coordinators in your first 3 years as a head coach, and both of those guys are going to make your offense a top 5 offense, that's not something I saw coming out of Dan's first 3 years as a head football coach, and that's what we got.
Yeah, I would say that it's definitely a problem, especially because Phil Knight is doing exactly what every single college football fan would want to do if they were Phil Knight, because he's literally saying, empty out my pockets before I die because I want to see as many Oregon national championships as possible. So, I mean, back up the brink trucks literally and take all the money you absolutely want and win every single national title that you possibly can until he's no longer there.
Hell yeah.
Empty out the pockets for some rings, baby.
What you reading?
Oh, I was on Twitter looking at the sketch stuff. Sorry about that, brother.
I don't even tapped into that yet. I saw like one of the
pretty
tweets,
crazy.
But
either way, that was just my ADD coming out right there.
It's all good.
Where are we?
Talking about how Dan Lanning.
Yeah, elite football recruiter.